Hello, I am super excited for the training that we're going to do today. So today I want to walk you through a 4-part framework to win more clients. And essentially, this is going to walk you through the core elements of a sales plan and give you the opportunity to evaluate where you're totally rocking it in your business and where things are going well when it comes to winning more clients. And then we're going to look at also where are there opportunities? Where do you need to focus your time and your efforts into creating some systems, some processes, getting some tools on board to get started? So we are going to kind of just fly through this. It's going to be a jam-packed session. I am going to try and post right now. Here we are right here. I'm going to post in the comments. Maybe. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. That's how we're going to do this. So you can do the audit and then we'll figure out how to get you a copy of it for yourself. But this is just something I want you to look at this as an opportunity to learn about how to think about sales, how to think about generating more clients, but doing that in a way that is like productive for your business. So I'm going to pull up this sales audit. So you can see the sales audit here. This, I'm going to go ahead and try and make this full screen. Nope, that's not going to work. So this is the exact same audit that I do with my clients. So this is not anything different than what I do when I am working with a client, onboarding them, kind of talking through what's working, talking about what's not. It's been customized here for businesses that are sole proprietors, that are consultants, that maybe are individual, agents responsible for generating their own work. So you don't have a team, you're responsible for generating your own leads, your own sales. How are you doing? What's working? What's not working? And how can you do better? So I'm just kind of playing around with the formatting here so that we can kind of get this set up so you can best see it all at the same time. Oh, that's so close. Okay. Anyways, this is just going to have to work for right now. So these are the elements that I want you thinking about in your business. So there's 4 elements that we're going to talk about that are really the critical elements. If you nail these 4 areas, you are going to have all of the tools that you need to successfully build your business and find clients. And so we're going to go through this each section at a time. I want you to really be honest with yourself. This isn't about, oh my gosh, like I totally suck. This isn't about anything like that. This is about essentially saying, how am I doing? Where's the opportunity? The analogy I often use is it's a little bit like your gas gauge. If you are low on gas and you're like on a quarter of a tank, you don't freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I'm almost out of gas. What's happening? No, you just go get more gas. And so I want you to think about that from this standpoint too. So what happened to my screen here? Okay. I do not know, but we will just get it pulled back up here. Okay. So this is not about judgment. This is truly about giving you the tools that you need to understand what is working in your business and where there's opportunities. If you feel like, man, I would love to have more clients in my business more consistently, this is a great starting point to understand where you can focus your time, where you can focus on your efforts to help create that reality in your business. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the scale that we're using. We are using a 5-point scale. So you get 1 point if you're like, you strongly disagree with the statement, and then a 5 if you strongly agree. And then there's some variance in there, right? And so I want you to think about this. Be brutally honest with yourself. No one's going to see the results except for you. So feel free to just share the true experiences of what's happening. Okay. So we're going to start with I call it customer segmentation. That is unnecessarily jargony. From that standpoint, really what this is talking about is knowing who you are selling to. So I love Seth Godin, and in his most recent book, This is Marketing. And I know we're talking about sales, but sales and marketing are very closely related. He talks about really you need to identify the smallest viable market for your business. And this is one of the mistakes that a lot of people make, is that just because you can serve everyone and you can serve broad markets doesn't mean that from a sales standpoint, you should be focused on all of those segments at the same time. And what I want you to do is really think about instead, okay, if I'm going to actually focus my efforts in terms of outbound opportunity, you don't have time to reach out proactively to everybody in the universe. You can't go to every single conference. So say you're a photographer, you can't go to every single wedding show, every single, event that targets parents of high school seniors, every single event that targets business owners that do personal branding. You don't have the bandwidth for that. So segmenting your market actually makes it easier for you to focus your efforts. So that is what the first part of this framework is about, are you appropriately segmenting your audience so that you can spend your time appropriately with the right people? Okay, so these are the 5 questions under customer segmentation, where for each one of these individually, I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay, so these are the questions. I know what types of customers my company or you can best serve. So again, right, if you really have a heart for new home buyers, for example, or you're really good at helping people who might not feel like they can qualify for a traditional mortgage understand how to get their credit scores up, get their debt ratios where they need to be, that is going to be a very specific market that you target. Maybe you have a huge network of people whose kids are going to college. So you're going to maybe specialize in empty nesters. It doesn't mean you can't serve more people, but know who are you best suited to serve. Who is like the easiest slam dunk? I know I can help these people without any single question, I just know. I know in my heart. I feel confident about it. I feel good about it. So how confident are you? Would you say you strongly disagree or strongly agree or somewhere in the middle that you know what types of customers your company, you as the business owner, can best serve? So I want you to score yourself on that. And if it's everybody and you're like, yes, I can serve this person and this person and this person and this person, that's great, but you've got to pick one. And if you're not picking one or at the most 2, then I want you to just be aware that you maybe might not have really honed in on this segmentation part of what's happening. So that's the first question. And then I have a clear idea of what those customers value. So think about that, audience. Do you feel like you can clearly articulate what they value and how what they value might be different than what some other people might value, right? So if somebody is an empty nester, what they might value is having something that gives them flexibility to travel, but also still has room for their kids to stay when they come visit, right? They have different values and things that are important to them, and really feeling like they're getting something that's going to help them leverage, the last 10 years of their earnings to retire in a certain way. Those are going to be very different values than somebody who is, say, a first-time home buyer. So really think about, do you have a clear idea of what your target market, your segment values? The third thing I want you to evaluate here is, do you have a strong idea of who isn't a good customer? A really good way to know if you're segmenting well is if you can tell who isn't a good customer. If you can't answer who isn't a good customer for your business or for you, you have work to do in terms of segmentation. It's okay. There's just an opportunity there for you. But that's typically a trigger that we're still kind of in this mindset of I can help anyone, which might be true, but you can't help everyone equally. You're going to be more successful with some people than others. You're going to be more aligned with some customers than others. It's okay. This is actually going to help you succeed. So if you can't clearly articulate who isn't a good customer for your business, that tells me that you have an opportunity to get more clear on your customer segment. And then I want you to think about, once you know, right, that like, do you have a clearly defined segment, what we've talked about, a group of customers that you can best serve? And do you know how you can help them reach their goals? So you've clearly defined it, but then you've also clearly defined how it is that you are going to help them reach their goals. And not just you in terms of a photographer, a real estate agent, a mortgage broker, an insurance agent, but you specifically, the company you work for, and you as a representative of that company. And then from there, and this is so important, do you have then a target list of potential clients, or where you're going to go to find potential clients that match these aspects we've just talked about? So score yourself on each of these and then add up the score. So that is the first part of the framework, is really knowing who you're selling to. So you're going to see all of these sections are 5 questions. And so you have a total for a maximum of 25 points here. Now, again, this isn't like you scored 15 points. This isn't an opportunity to panic. It's just, okay, this is where I need to spend some time. I need to get really clear on my customer segmentation. I need to be able to answer all of these with confidence and clarity. Okay, so that is our customer segmentation. The next thing that we are going to jump right into is value proposition. Again, very jargony. Really what I'm trying to say here is, do you know what you are saying to your prospects? Okay, so this is what we're talking about here. So we have 5 questions here. We talked about who you are talking to, and now we're diving into what it is that you're saying. So do you know what makes you different than your competitors? What makes you different? Is it a style? Is it an approach? Is it a way that you're thinking about? Is it resources? Is it the types of companies that you have relationships with? What is it that makes you different than your competitors? And then can you describe that, what makes you unique, in 3 sentences or less? This is all about messaging. This is about, hey, have you dialed in on how you are going to really attract, communicate, and share what makes you special, what makes you unique for your customers? The thing about this is the most important thing, because I love this analogy that I heard once where it talks about, if you are in a crowded place, say you are in downtown Bend when you could still see people, and it's Summerfest and there's vendors and there's music, and you see somebody that you know, the best way to get their attention is to say their name, right? So that's knowing who you're talking to. And then what is it that you want to say to them? So if you can get clear on these 2 things, how you communicate and who you communicate to, your efforts are going to be much more powerful and much more effective than if you're not confident on these things. Okay. Do you have sales material and resources, right? Website, tools, articles, things that you can send out that you can use as proof points to the people that you're talking to, right? I have impactful sales materials. So, I always say this, that our brain makes decisions emotionally and then justifies them logically. I'm not the only one who says this, by the way. Research backs it up. And so really the sales materials and resources are to give people that evidence around what it is that they're looking at, that yes, that's going to reinforce my decision. It makes what you're saying more believable. Okay. So then the next thing, and again, we're on a 5-point scale here. So 1 is going to be strongly disagree, 3 is neutral, 5 is strongly agree. So you're scoring yourself for each of these 5 aspects and knowing what to say. And then within that your marketing materials clearly define what it is that you offer, and they're written in your customer's language. The very final question, I want you to just give yourself a gut check. I almost said button check, but gut check. I am confident that my key messages resonate with my potential customers. Score that up, right? You have a maximum of 25. The lowest you could score is 5. And just give yourself a sense. How am I doing here? How am I doing when it comes to knowing what to say to my prospects? Is this a strength of mine, or is this an area for opportunity? Now we are going to dive into sales process. Okay. So sales process. So now you know who you're talking to. You know what it is that you're saying. Now it's important to really think about, how are you going to interact with them? How are you going to get them engaged, right? So first of all, do you have a clearly defined sales goal? This is important. This isn't just growth. This isn't just more. This isn't just revenue. What do you need to sell in order to hit those goals? Is that clearly defined? And then within that, do you know how many customers you need to serve or how much you need to sell? But for, if you are a independent contributor within a brokerage, if you are a consultant, it really comes down to how many people you're going to serve annually, quarterly, and monthly to hit your revenue targets, to hit your goal. Do you know off the top of your hand, this is how many clients I need? This is how many customers I need. So this next one might seem like, oh my gosh, and it's okay if you don't know, but do you know your current prospect to customer conversion ratio? Meaning that, what percentage of the times do you talk to somebody who could potentially be a customer and they actually become a customer? Is that 9 out of 10 times? Is that 5 out of 10 times? The reason that this is helpful is it helps you identify if you're not hitting your goals. Is it a challenge in terms of what's happening in the process, or is it not getting in front of enough people? That's all we're trying to do with this. I will tell you, if you have 100% conversion ratio, you're not talking to enough people. So the goal of sales is never to win everybody. It's to check for alignment and fit and be of service. And so if you have 100% conversion ratio, I promise you are not talking to nearly enough people. Okay. And then within that, do you have a lead generation process and a CRM system to capture your leads and help you with follow-up? So just score yourself, strongly agree, strong is 5, strongly disagree is 1, and neutral is 3. And then do you have a documented plan of how you're going to interact with each target customer each way? So are you, if you're in mortgage, are you meeting with your centers, your referral sources that are realtors? Are you seeing them weekly? Are you seeing them monthly? Are you inviting them to engagements? What are you doing? How are you continuing that conversation? How are you generating that? What's your plan for that? Decide in advance and you will have so much more success. So again, we're going to score on each of these. You have a maximum of 25. If you strongly agree to all of these, you're at 25. If you strongly disagree to all of these, you're at 5. And then you can see, how are you fitting in? How is this scoring relative to knowing who you're talking to and what you're saying? Now talking about how you're going to reach out to them. So notice we're talking about, who are you talking to? Who are you selling to? Who's your customer? What are you saying to your customer? What is it that you offer? What makes you unique, right? How are you communicating? And then how are you going to interact? What does that look like? Are you picking up the phone? Are you sending packages? Are you commenting on social media? Are you going to their office, right? Pre-COVID? Are you setting up Zoom meetings? Like, what is the plan to interact with those people? So how are you interacting? And then our final category is the skills within each of these. So this is where it can get a little bit feel like, do you have the right skill set to win new clients? So here are 5. There are way more than 5, but these are 5 that I think are critically important. I want to share some tools too for you guys around this. So I'm going to be posting some links here shortly. But, sales skills. I am confident starting conversations with new customers. So this is like, okay, I'm confident in terms of starting a conversation by picking up the phone and introducing myself to somebody. I'm confident sending an email to somebody who I've heard about that I want to connect with but haven't talked to. I'm confident if I'm at a networking event and there's somebody there introducing myself and starting a conversation. So I want you thinking about that. How confident are you starting new conversations with new people? And be honest with yourself, right? It's okay if you're not at a 5 on all of these. That doesn't mean you're not going to be successful. It just is an opportunity for you to start thinking about where you can hone your efforts and develop your skills. Okay, so the next one, right? And again, this is that 5-point scale. So we've got 1 is strongly disagree, 3 is neutral, 5 is strongly agree. I am confident in executing discovery sessions with prospects. Okay, so when I say discovery session, this is the part where you sit down and you get to know what are their challenges, what are their goals, what are their opportunities. Are you comfortable and confident having a conversation where you're setting up a framework for identifying what their challenges are and what they value? This is done through questions. So I'm going to share right now in the link a great resource. This is 5 questions to multiply your sales. It talks about questions that you can share at different points in the sales conversation. It's not just about initiating. There are some questions that you can ask at other times as well. So I'm going to share that link here. Let me see something really quick. Okay, so that's available. You can download that. It's a phenomenal resource. So make sure you download that if this is an area where you struggle in terms of starting new or discovery sessions. This can help tremendously, give you some ideas of where to go with that. So I want you to just evaluate where you are now. If you're not scoring high here, no big deal. Go download that resource, right? That's a quick win that you can have. Like, get you started thinking about what are some compelling questions that I can ask my customers. I'm going to be perfectly transparent with you. What I'm doing right now, I walk through this with companies that I'm having conversations with to see where I might be able to help them. There's another section in here related to companies that have teams, but this is essentially where I kind of get information about where are they doing well, where are they not doing well, while at the same time educating them about what I believe to be important and where some gaps are that might be getting in the way. So I'm kind of starting to kind of get them like, oh yeah, we're not doing that well. We could use help there. So I want you for your business to think about what is an equivalent of something like this. What's that discovery session look like? Because that is going to set you up for having really compelling sales conversations. Okay, so the next one, I'm an expert on your industry, our products, and our competition. Most people do really well on this. If you don't, that's okay. You have an opportunity to learn. But in terms of sales skills, expertise is important from that standpoint of what I said before. It builds that confidence. It gives your customers the sense that like, oh, I feel good about this, but it gives me that logical information to lean back onto. So I want you to score yourself there. Again, this is a 5-point scale. 1, strongly disagree. 5, strongly agree. So now I consistently deliver engaging and compelling proposals to qualified customers. How confident are you in your proposal process? When you sit down and you say, okay, I'm going to go over with you what your insurance quote is. I'm going to go over with you, what the mortgage rates are and what you qualify. Are you confident that you're delivering that in a way that is engaging and compelling? So I want you to be really honest about that. That is a really important sales skill. And then again, ask yourself, I feel confident setting timelines and asking qualified prospects to do business with us. So this is, again, think about that 5-point scale. Think about the spectrum of from a 1 to I strongly disagree to a 5 that is a strongly agree is a 5, strongly disagree is a 1, and then neutral is 3. So I want you thinking about that for each of these so you can add them all up and give yourself that total score. This got transitioned over from the team document. So it says team score, ignore that. But I want you thinking about this. this is kind of traditionally that standpoint of closing. I always say you should never be closing. Sales is about opening relationships, not closing business, but ultimately asking people, saying, here's what I propose. How does this quote look for you? Does this hit your needs of XYZ that we developed during that discovery session? They're like, yeah, okay. How close are we? Is there other additional information that you need? Yes, no. If they say, no, this is great, awesome. Do we have the green light to move forward then? Here's what I propose. I'll send over documents and we can sign them here. Does that work for you? So how confident are you really leading that conversation about asking them to do business with you? So add all of these up, and then I want you to look back. When we talked about 5 key areas here. We talked about sales skills, we talked about sales process, we talked about value proposition, and we talked about customer segmentation. Or more simply put, we talked about knowing who you are selling to, knowing what you are selling them and what you're saying to them. We talked about how you're reaching out, how you're selling, what does that process look like? And then we talked about skill set. So I want you to think about, of each of those 4, add up the scores, and then here's some guiding questions to help you really make this actionable. So where did you score the highest? Was it in knowing who you're talking to? Was it in your sales skills? Was it in the process? Notice that. That's a strength of yours. Celebrate that. Continue to, do well in that. But then where did you score the lowest? And based on that, what 3 actions can you take to increase your overall strategy? Is it really honing in on a customer segmentation, being tighter about that? Is it, getting more clear about your messaging? Is it really like integrating its discovery session as part of your sales process, right? Think about what are some strategies that you can implement that are going to have an impact on your business. And then from there, what is one action that, if taken, will have the biggest impact overall on your sales in the next 90 days? Take that action. This doesn't have to be complicated. If you just take one action in an area where you scored low, it will have an impact on your business. So add that up, see where you're at. I'm going to be going live tomorrow at 1:00 with some more training to help you really hone in these skills and these areas so that you can win more clients. I want to tell you, you can totally do this. You can grow your business. You can have success even with everything that's happening in the market. It might be more challenging. You might have to work harder. You might get more no's. There are a lot of really true challenges that are happening right now. This is not about ignoring that or pretending that's not happening, but this is about saying that in spite of that, and through that I'm going to take the actions that are going to position me and my business to succeed in 2020 and beyond, because your business isn't just a one-year deal. Your business is something you're investing in for your future and for the long term. And so think about, if you take these small actions today, it is going to have a huge impact on your business 30, 60, 90 days from now, but also 1 year, 2 year, 3 years from now. We have opened the doors to Double Down Club. This is a super exciting opportunity. If you are a consultant, if you are a commission-based professional, if you are in mortgage, real estate, insurance, and you are thinking about, man, I am tired of struggling to find my next client. I am tired of wondering where that next client is going to come from. I want to have consistency in my business. I want to be hitting those revenue goals, but I just don't know how to make it happen. Or I feel like I know how to make it happen and I'm doing all of the right things, but I'm not getting the results and I'm not getting the traction. Double Down Club can help you. You are going to get one strategy a month. One strategy. The reason I'm giving you one strategy is I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I want this to be something you can implement in your business. Consistent action creates consistent results. So we want you to take action. You're going to get one strategy that you can implement within 1 hour a week. And then with that, win at least one additional client every single month, likely more. If you win just one more client in a year, Double Down Club pays for itself. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, alone, having self-doubt, wondering if you can do this, feeling like, man, I'm doing great 1 month, but I'm struggling the next, look at Double Down Club. It can help you. It has the resources and the tools. We are only opening the doors until Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to support everyone in the first module together. The first module, if you just take the resources and the strategy from the first month, you will have results in your business. You will see an impact. We have some phenomenal follow-up tools, follow-up scripts, follow-up strategies that will have an impact on your business. If you only got that one strategy, you would see an impact in your business. So check it out, Double Down Club. It's mytimetoprofit.com/double down. And we will be live with more training tomorrow. Have a great rest of the week. It is 75 degrees here in Bend, Oregon. I've got the doors open downstairs. We've got windows open. It feels so great to see that sunshine. So let me know how I can support you. And I will see you live tomorrow, both at 10 with our general conversation and then again at 1 o'clock. Have a great rest of the day.